But they showed her that the guides, the angels, Jesus, the spirit guides, they were happy that the Pope was back on the 5G, kind of basically celebrating him. So, in other words, this was a confirmation of the information I got previously, that everybody on the spiritual realm, in the 5D, was very happy that the Pope was back and that he fulfilled his mission beautifully. Hi there, my name is Kelly. And today, actually, I didn't prepare anything. I decided just to go off tangent a little bit, to talk about something that I believe is timely because of the passing of our Pope, Pope Francis, and have a conversation about our vibration in terms of keeping our vibration high so we can have things working out for us, and also helping with raising the vibration of the planet, helping humanity overall. And by the way, I have the sunglasses here because my eyes are itching, seasonal allergies. The the pollen count is high here where I am, so my eyes are itching and red. But continue. I decided to talk about Pope Francis today because I was just reflecting about him, and then I was very emotional as well because he was definitely one of a kind for the person, the person that he was, the way he lived, the changes he brought to the church, the Catholic Church. He was responsible for a lot of changes. Well, for some conservatives, he went too far. He was too progressive. However, for some other people, believe it or not, I was actually surprised about that. He didn't do enough. But in many ways, he was responsible for significant changes. It's undeniable the way that he went about his papacy, the way he treated people, the way he tried to unite us. His humanity was remarkable. Well, actually, he truly loved humanity. He really loved us and wanted to bring us together. He defended the marginalized. He was not afraid also to express his opinions about hot button issues and, well, beside all the things that he did. But for someone in the church, the way that the church um, has been throughout centuries and years, he proved it over and over again that he was ahead of his time. And I was reflecting because he lived his life following the footsteps of Saint Francis of Assisi. And talking about that, I actually got to the point to even start thinking that maybe he was the reincarnation of Saint Francis of Assisi. But then I realized that he was not. And the reason I say that is because I follow several spiritual leaders, and one of those, psychic medium, has actually seen Francis of Assisi by the Pope's side, receiving him, welcoming him on his return to the spiritual realm. And you know what was even more interesting about this? This past week, I was watching a video from a very popular psychic comedian here on YouTube. You might even be familiar with um, Linda G. And then while she was going through her episode, she said something around the lines of, I don't know why they are giving me this. They, her spirit guides, or angels, the spirits, but they showed her that the guides, the angels, Jesus, the spirit guides, they were happy that the Pope was back on the 5G, kind of basically celebrating him. So, in other words, this was a confirmation of the information I got previously, that everybody on the spiritual realm, in the 5D, was very happy that the Pope was back and that he fulfilled his mission beautifully. And talking about that, I don't know if you are familiar with Dolores Cannon. She used to work with hypnosis, and throughout her lifetime, she talked about the 3 waves of volunteers. So those 3 waves of volunteers, those are exactly who they were: volunteers who committed to come to Earth to help humanity, to help raise the vibration of the planet, to help raise humanity's vibration. And now she didn't say that, but I was reflect about that. The Pope Francis was actually one of those. He was one of those waves of volunteers who came here to help raise the planet vibration and humanity's vibration, which, by the way, it was something that the psychic medium who said that Saint Francis of Assisi surrounded the Pope, welcoming him. So that was the psychic medium that really emphasized that. But that goes to show the type of person that he was. He was actually one of those volunteers who didn't need to be here on Earth, but he wanted to be part of those who wanted to help humanity. And he was one example of someone who did this work with a lot of love in his heart, which can tell a lot about of who he truly was. But he knew what he was doing, or what he was meant to do here. And this is where I go to the point of us human beings on Earth, on this planet, of us to try to raise our vibration, or try to connect with ourselves, with our inner beings, to keep our vibrations high. And I know it's not possible to be in a high fly, I would say high fly disc, as Abraham Hicks would say. So it's not possible to do this the entire time. It's actually very challenging because we live in a very dense atmosphere. But we chose to be here. We chose to come here, to grow, to evolve, to awaken. And we knew we would face challenges. And if we reincarnated several times, we've been here before, possibly in even worse conditions, circumstances. But obviously, when we go back to the 5D, we let go of all of our pain, suffering. We have time to restore, recoup, forget, and get ready to another one if it's the case. And again, I'm talking about those of us who reincarnate on this planet, because there are those people who never incarnated here. So for those people, those volunteers, it can be very hard and challenging. Well, as I would figure, it was very hard for the Pope as well. But at some point, I guess he realized his mission. He knew what he was meant to do. As we know, since a young age, I believe he was 32, he wanted to be a priest, become a spiritual leader, and then later on he became a cardinal, and then eventually a pope. But even how he became a pope, if we think about it, was pretty unexpected. He was the first Latin American Pope. And by the way, as someone from Latin America, South America myself, I'm very proud of that. But yeah, he is in a very good place. He's in peace. He's happy. And he is still guiding us, supporting us, and sending positive vibrations from above. Well, we definitely need them. And with that, I also wanted to talk about the power of meditation. Meditation. That it's never too much. Actually, you don't need much to meditate, just a few minutes of your time, so you can go into yourself, into your inner being, and truly connect with who you are. And this is actually a big thing, by the way, because you help yourself helping raise the vibration of the planet. But anyway, I didn't mean to follow this route, but I just felt compelled. There was something telling me, to have this conversation, especially because of the moment which we are living nowadays. But we do have each other's back. And if you guys wanna join me in any of those meditations, now I've been slowly moving the ones that I have here to the app, to the Insight Timer app. Insight Timer app. I've been slowly adding meditations there, including free tracks for all kinds of meditation. So I will leave a link if you would like to join me there. Well, actually, you can download and listen the audio from anywhere you want. But anyway, I'll leave a link in the description below. But this is what I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.